and there's not a lot of Republicans right now that are for legalization. So I said, Joe, you're right. This should be a nonpartisan issue. And I said, Joe, help me to convince Republicans, because we got to get Republicans on board. So Joe said, yeah, I'd love to speak. So ladies and gentlemen, a fairly new activist, my new friend, Joe Drum.
Good morning. My name is Joe Drum. I'm a 35-year-old registered Republican from Montgomery County. I'm a husband, a father of two, and a healthcare professional. I'm here today to speak out in opposition to the destructive policy of cannabis prohibition, as well as to make my frustration known with our current Republican elected representatives. I have voted Republican consistently since I was eligible to vote. I consider myself Republican because traditionally, the Republican Party is supposed to represent basic conservative principles: personal freedom, limited government, fiscal and individual responsibility, constitutional conservatism, and free market enterprise. Cannabis prohibition is the antithesis of all these principles, yet for some reason, the Pennsylvania GOP is uniformly opposed to reforming our cannabis laws. There is not one Republican legislator in the Pennsylvania General Assembly who has publicly endorsed legalizing cannabis. Why is that? Not one of these politicians has provided a single good reason. Cannabis prohibition is simply poor policy. It relies on myths and propaganda. It is wasteful and ineffective. It has been the law for 86 years, and despite its draconian nature, just as many people today, if not more, are using cannabis regularly. Taxpayers are forced to foot the bill for this, up to $100 million a year, enforcing this policy with essentially nothing to show for it. Furthermore, the state is missing out on potential tax revenue. Auditor General DePasquale estimated that a legal regulated market for cannabis could generate up to $580 million a year. That is 70% of our state's total budget so far. That is not fiscally responsible. Many social conservatives will quickly shun this movement as being all about the money. However, money is actually not at all why anyone is here today. We are here today defending our basic human and constitutional rights. The founding fathers built this country with a very particular vision, in which government would be kept in check and individual liberty would be maximized and preserved. Unfortunately, people continue to get arrested at an alarming rate for possessing and using a plant which not a single person has died from in recorded history. That is not the vision of our founding fathers. That is not limited government. It is tyranny. It is well past time to end the prohibition of cannabis. Our federal government is dragging its feet. Thus, the path to ending prohibition is a grassroots movement. It must change at the local and state levels, which is what is happening across the rest of the country. I'm here today asking that just one Pennsylvania Republican legislator get the courage to stand up to the establishment and formally endorse ending prohibition. Please do the right thing and be a patriot. Prohibition isn't conservative. It isn't American. There is no good reason for any Republican to support the continuation of this policy, and every reason to stand up and call for its end. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe Drum. Republicans, I hope you heard his message. It was deep, it was profound, it was from his heart. He's right. Currently, there's not one single Republican legislator in the entire legislature who supports cannabis legalization, at least not publicly. But within the people of the Republican Spirit Party, I sense a new spirit rising. It's time for our Republican to do the will of their constituents and get over with this issue. To continue with this theme, I've asked Zygmunt Reichenbach, the executive director of a new organization called PA Republicans for Cannabis Legalization, to also address this theme. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zygmunt Reichenbach.
My name is Cannabis Legalization. I'm an activist at PA Republican for LegalCannabis.com, Facebook.com/services, PRFLC. And what we want to share is our vision. And just what it is, exactly what it is, we stand for. The vision we have is bigger than the situation of legalizing cannabis. We believe that the issue of legalizing cannabis is just one small step toward living a more prosperous and liberty-filled life. And that's why so many of us are also volunteering to change our probation and parole system. We also trust people. We believe people, when supplied with adequate information, can make responsible choices regarding the safety of engaging in certain activities. For instance, we know people are capable of using cannabis responsibly, just as people drive cars, fire guns, and drink alcohol responsibly. We also believe in social justice. We know that when the government improperly interferes with the market, it primarily affects the poorest and working classes. Not like the wealthy who can afford lawyers to pardon their recreational drug use. We know that members of the working poor don't have that money to stop themselves from including a criminal record. We also believe in keeping people safe. We know that when items like cannabis are made illegal, it provides funding for violent criminals who are not deterred by the threat of violent punishment. We also care about children. That's what we want legal cannabis. We want to live in a world where cannabis is not pushed on children by back alley drug dealers who have no regard for children's safety. In addition to the things we believe, there are a number of things that we don't believe. We don't believe cannabis is a gateway drug. Instead, we believe that illegal cannabis is a gateway to the black market, which often exposes others to more dangerous substances and people. We want cannabis to be legal to stop people from being exposed to other dangerous substances and black market activity. We also don't believe in fear mongering. As political observers, we're aware that politicians want people to be afraid of cannabis. We know that politicians want people to be afraid of cannabis in order to secure an easy re-election day. We also don't support a tough-line crime approach to dealing with cannabis offenses. In fact, we believe that being tough on criminals only serves to make tough criminals tougher. Instead, we'd like to see a system that makes bad people better. We'll never support the war against drug users, which is exactly what the war on drugs actually is. Think about it for a minute. You don't have, for instance, wars against objects. You don't have wars against trees, wars against pavement. Therefore, we believe Nixon's unilateral declaration of war against U.S. citizens is just as unconstitutional as it is morally wrong. And like all of you, we don't support a government attempting to wage war on its own citizens. We want to help end this war by legalizing cannabis. And in terms of our philosophy, we believe that politics is the product of culture, not vice versa. And that's why we know that we're going to have to be dug in for the long haul. We're going to have to be the agents of change. To do this, we know that we've got to be better activists and work harder to build other people into better leaders. Our philosophy also dictates a state's first approach to government, in line with our Republican principles. We support this approach because we believe in the people. We believe in the people, and the individual states have the ability to govern better than folks at the national level. And when it comes to legislation, we support any law that lets states decide what they want without federal oversight. Lastly, our Republican philosophy is a revolutionary philosophy. We believe that the Republican government our founders settled on is the most revolutionary form of political organization known to man. Now the question is this: will you join us and making our republic revolutionary again. VA Republicans for LegalCannabis.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy. We're going to do our best to make this a nonpartisan issue so that we get both Democrats and Republicans on board. The most colossal failure this state has ever had is a big attempt at cannabis prohibition. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We just passed a grim milestone 2 weeks ago. On May 22nd, 1933, Governor Gifford Pinchot signed the law banning marijuana. It went into effect on September 1st, 1933. Curiously timed, as it was just 3 months before the end of that other colossal failure called the National Prohibition of Alcohol. 4 years later, the federal prohibition of cannabis was enacted in 1937, and they double-teamed us. The state has waged war on the people of Pennsylvania over the plant of our ancestors for 86 years. 86 years! Is there less cannabis today in Pennsylvania than there was in 1933? Of course not. Based on a conservative estimate of about 10% of the population uses cannabis on a regular basis. That means that over 1,250,000 people use cannabis every year in Pennsylvania. Of those, about 25,000 people are arrested for possession, cultivation, or sales of cannabis every year, while the other 1,225,000 people go through life unscathed and use cannabis in the privacy of their homes. Any fool can see that the strategy of prohibition is doomed to failure on paper and in real life. It's not only wrong, cruel, and immoral, but blatantly stupid as well. Over the last 10 years, more than 250,000 Pennsylvania citizens have had their lives ruined or severely interrupted by arrest for cannabis at a cost to the state of nearly $1 billion, while foregoing perhaps $5 billion in tax revenue and 30,000 good-paying, family-sustaining jobs. The state faces a $1.5 billion structural deficit. Cannabis legalization will not fix all of our budget woes completely, but it can close the gap, and in conjunction with other smart moves, could help restore fiscal responsibility to state government. Let me assert a basic truth. It is my right to grow my own cannabis and to use cannabis freely in a responsible way. My right! It is a right that belongs to us all, enshrined in the words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When a law is opposed by 60% of the population, it cannot be imposed or properly enforced. Change is breaking out all over America. Illinois, just last week, became the 11th state to legalize cannabis. Joining Colorado, California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Alaska, Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Michigan, and Washington, D.C. Plus, cannabis is completely legal in the entire country of Canada, and Mexico is on the verge of legalizing it. And cannabis has already been decriminalized in 11 cities in Pennsylvania: Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Erie, State College, Allentown, Bethlehem, Harrisburg, Steelton, York, Lancaster, and Manor Township. Resolutions of support for statewide decriminalization have been passed in Reading and Easton. And Norristown is the next city poised to introduce and pass a decriminalization ordinance.
What's up, brother?
Last September, a decriminalization bill was passed out of the House Judiciary Committee by a 20-4 vote. It was passed too late in the session to get a floor vote, but it has been reintroduced and sits now in the House Judiciary Committee now chaired by Representative Rob Kaufman. We know that Chairman Kaufman opposes the legalization of cannabis, but he should hold hearings on decriminalization immediately. We know that we have a fight ahead of us for legalization, but there is already strong bipartisan consensus for decriminalization right now. Decriminalization is not opposed by law enforcement and is